This dunya, it looks so perfect and it looks so beautiful in one moment, but in the next moment, a disaster can come and it can destroy everything. And a perfect example of this is the earthquakes that we have heard about in Morocco. The earthquakes that we heard about last year in Syria, in Turkey. The flooding that happened in Libya. Disasters are bound to come. Disasters and destruction is bound to come in this dunya. And when we see these disasters, we see people lose their lives. We see homes and families being destroyed. And we've heard about these earthquakes. And we've heard about these disasters and these floodings. And they've been talked about in many different khutbahs. But honestly, what have we learned from them? Thousands of people have lost their lives. And this is a sign. This is a sign of death. Maut. The death that is inevitable. The death that every single person on the face of this earth can agree to. You can be atheist, you can be Christian, you can be Jewish, you can be Muslim, you can be black, white, whatever skin color, whatever race, whatever nationality. You can be young, you can be rich, you can be poor, you can be powerful or powerless. But we all can agree that death is there. Death is real. And I want you to ask yourself, what are you doing to prepare for the day that you die? Because this dunya is just a beautiful lie. This dunya is nothing but a lie. The money, the power, the fame, the cars, the houses of this dunya is nothing but a lie. We are striving our days and our nights, our lives, for all of the money and the wealth of this world, just to take nothing back in the grave. Just to stand in front of Allah on the day of judgment with nothing but our good deeds. No family, no wife, no husband, no children, no one by our sides, no parent. What are you doing to prepare for the day that you leave this world? How much do you think about death? The death that Allah has promised to every single soul. When Allah says in the Quran, كُلُّ نَفْسٍ ذَائِكَةُ الْمَوْتِ, every soul will taste death. And Allah continues to say, ثُمَّ إِلَيْنَا تُرْجَعُونَ, and then to us you will all be returned. Every soul. No one is safe. No human. No matter how powerful you are, no human is safe from Allah. No animal, no entity, no soul is safe from Allah. Every one of us will be returned. So I want you to ask yourself, and on top of this, death has no age. There is no age to death. Sometimes we think that we're going to become older and we're going to have a spouse and we're going to have kids. And our kids are going to have kids and we're going to be with our grandkids. And I'm going to just sleep one day and never wake up. I'm going to live 60, 70, 80 years peacefully and just leave this world. There are children, babies that are born into this world, and the second that they're born into this world, they leave this world. So what makes you think that you're going to live even till the age that you think that you're going to live? 60 and 70 and you're going to turn old and gray and then you're going to leave this world. What makes you think that you have the time? What makes you think that you're going to stay here for a long time? What makes you think that you can't die tomorrow? What makes you think that you're not going to leave this masjid today? Go home and make it here for Isha Salah. What makes you think? And on top of this, what is the point of talking about death? Because death will come to you. Malik al-Maut is going to come to you no matter what. So what do you need to do? What does this show? What does this prove? It proves that you're going to die the way you live. If you're someone who commits sin, who does haram, who smokes, drinks, does all of the forbidden, do you think you're one day not going to die on that? What makes you think that, oh yeah, I'm going to do whatever I want right now? Allah is the most merciful. إِنَّمَا الْأَعْمَالُ بِالنِّيَّاتِ. I can do whatever I want. Allah knows what's in my heart. Allah knows my intention. I can do whatever I want, move however I want, whatever I please. I'm a free man. I live in America. I can do whatever I want. And then when I turn old and when I have kids, and then when my kids have kids, and then I'm going to go to Hajj and I'm going to patch it all up and I'm going to forgive and I'm going to ask for forgiveness and that's it. We plan, but Allah plans best. You don't know when you're going to leave this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَ أَحَدَهُمُ الْمَوْتُ قَالَ رَبِّ ارْجِعُونِ. When death approaches any of them, and this is a regret, and this is one of the regrets talked about in the Quran. When death approaches any of them, they cry, my Lord, let me go back. When you're going to die, think about it. The way you live right now, do you think you're ready to meet Allah in this moment? Do you think that if Malik al-Maut was to come into this room right now and take your life, do you think that you will be able to answer the 3 questions in the grave? Do you think that you will be able to stand up in front of Allah and answer whatever question Allah has for you? We think that we have so much time on our hands. We're slaves to this world. We're slaves to our bosses. We have work. We have school. Whenever we have school and we're supposed to be on a specific time, or whenever we have a job and we're supposed to be on a specific time, we're there 10 minutes earlier. And we work and we learn throughout the entire day for hours just for some amount of money. Just for some amount of money, we chased for hours, sacrificing our entire day. But just for 20 minutes in your day, you cannot even get up and pray your 5 times salah. You cannot give your time to Allah. Just for some small amount of time. And what has Allah not given you that you're not grateful? Allah gave you life. You could have died in your sleep today. But by Allah's permission, you're here. By Allah's permission, you woke up. Your soul asks Allah for permission. Do I return to this body or not? Every heartbeat in your heart right now, every heartbeat is from the permission of Allah. Every breath you take is from the permission of Allah. All the wealth, everything you have is from Allah. What are your bosses? What is this dunya giving you? That we can't give our time to Allah just for 20 minutes, but we can sacrifice hours of our time to this world. You will die the way you lived. Are you going to be someone who dies listening to music, or dies with the Quran in their hands? If you honestly think that you listen to music, do you think you're going to die on Quran? If you're someone who sells haram, sells weed, sells alcohol, with all of the smoke shops that are opened by Muslims in our own communities, And then we complain, why are our children vaping? We're doing it to them. We're giving it to them. Do you think that if you sell haram, that you're going to die on a halal income? What legacy are you going to leave behind in this world? Are you going to leave a legacy of haram? Or are you going to leave a legacy of halal? And no one is going to remember you when you die. We think that we're going to die and people are going to cry and our graves are there and they're going to lift up our body and the body. Whenever you go to a janazah, what do they refer to the person as? The body. Oh, we have to take the body to the... They refer it to it as the body. Not even your name. And after some time, you will be forgotten. No one is going to remember you. Who remembers Queen Elizabeth? She was the ruler. She was the queen. All the power, all the money in her hands. She died the same death that you and I are going to die. No matter how she lived her life. And who remembers her now? What, for a week, they just had people surrounding her grave, visiting her grave, and that's it? And for the youth who idolize people like Kobe Bryant, who remembers Kobe Bryant? Who remembers these people? If we don't even remember these people, who's going to remember you? Because you and I, nobody knows who we are. We're nothing. So how are we thinking that people are going to remember us when we don't even remember Allah? We don't even remember Allah. So what makes you think that you're going to leave a good legacy in this dunya if you don't even remember Allah? And in a hadith, Abu Hurairah radiallahu anh, he narrates, when a man dies, all of his good deeds come to an end. And this is where we come to about what kind of legacy are you going to leave when you die. All of his good deeds, they come to an end, except for 3. Ongoing charity, sadaqah. Ask yourself, how much charity do you give? And sometimes we think that charity is supposed to be a certain amount of money. It's for a certain amount of people that have wealth. And if I give $1 in the box, that's bad. $1, what worth does it have? In the eyes of Allah, Allah loves the small deeds that are consistent. Allah loves the small deeds that are consistent. How much charity, how much sadaqah do you give? Out of the amount of wealth that you have, amount of what Allah has blessed you with. And Allah promises you so much in return when you give for His sake, but you can't even trust Allah. You can't even trust Allah that if I give something for the sake of Allah, Allah is not going to give me back. Ongoing charity. Beneficial knowledge is the second. What knowledge are you giving to the people that are around you? What Islam have you taught them? What Quran have you taught them? What influence do you have on the people around you as a Muslim? Because whenever you give them something, whenever you give them da'wah, whenever you tell them about a good deed and they do it, you're going to get the reward. Imagine if you gave someone a Quran. Every time they read it, you get the reward. This is a legacy you can leave behind. But this is things that we don't focus on. Why? Because we're so blind after this dunya. We're blindly chasing this dunya. Sadaqah, beneficial knowledge. And the third, a righteous child who prays for you. A righteous child who prays for you. As a father, as a parent, what influence do you have on your child? That one day when you leave this world, they're going to make dua for you. And as a child, because we're all children here, Are you making dua for your parents? If they have left this world, even if they haven't left this world. Are you that child who prays for your parents, who prays for their health, and if they have left this world, prays that they make it to Jannah? What kind of child are you? Are you the child who is going against what their parents wanted? Or are you the child who is going to be the legacy of the family by praying for your parents? Death is inevitable. Death is coming for all of us. There is no escape from it. It is a promise of Allah. We need to wake up. We need to wake up and ask ourselves, what are we doing to prepare for that moment? And we always think that, you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to change. Tomorrow I'm going to ask Allah for forgiveness. What makes you think that tomorrow is going to come? What makes you think that tomorrow is going to come? أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله ولكم فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. Turn to Allah before you return to Allah. Have accountability for what you do before you're accounted for. Ask yourself in your head, what am I doing to get closer to Allah? What change am I implementing into my life that one day when that moment of maut, when that moment of death comes, that I would be able to answer the 3 questions in the grave. That I won't be one of those. I won't be one of those who regrets and tells Allah, oh Allah, please give me one more chance to go back. Give me one more chance to go back, Allah. In Surah Naziyat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the first 2 ayahs, Allah talks about the angels in the first ayah who violently take souls. Violently take souls of those who are evil. And then Allah in the next ayah talks about the angels who gently take the souls of those who are good. I want you to ask yourself, is your soul the soul that's going to be taken violently, or is your soul the one that's going to be taken gently? We need to turn back to Allah. Change needs to happen now. It needs to happen now. We need to stop thinking that we have a tomorrow. Remember death often. How much taqwa do you have of Allah? When you're sitting there in the nights on your phone, scrolling through things that you should not be seeing, doing actions that you should not be doing, hearing things that you should not be hearing. What if Allah takes your life in that moment? And that's how you're resurrected on the day of judgment. Think about it. What do you do? What haram do you do? What wrong do you do? Is that how you would want to stand in front of Allah on the day of judgment? How much taqwa is in your heart? How much fear of Allah is in your heart? That when that time comes, you will be ready.